more, we could say, specific matters. This is specific, but it relates to somewhat of usul. And this regards the practices in the daily life of a Muslim. One example is Laylat Rajab, the first night of Rajab. The Ahl Sunnah, you'll find in their mutasawwifa holds that mukashafat, if it has a basis with even a weak hadith or a saying of a sahabi, enters into a practice, becomes a practice. One of those is the 4 nights, and in other narrations or sayings, 5 nights in which dua is mustajab. One of them being the first night of Rajab, just as an example. My purpose in bringing this up is not to defend one side or another, but just to try to actually remove the fangs of argumentation between both sides. The usul of a lot of Ahl Sunnah is to accept mukashafat of salihin and awliya, known and well known and relied upon scholars who have mukashafat, which is like a spiritual unveiling that has some basis in a weak hadith or saying of a sahabi. In this sense, the saying of Sayyidina Ali, regardless of its sanad, weak or otherwise, that Sayyidina Ali is the one who said there are 4 nights in which dua is mustajab, first night of Rajab being one. I want to ask the Hanbali approach to in history, the utilization of mukashafat in ritual practices. Okay, so with not we're left aqidah now. We've even left fiqh. I mean, this maybe is at the bottom issue of fiqh, right? So could you expound upon that?
Let's first agree that the Hanabila, in their usul, they accept the weak hadith, the moderately weak hadith, and they even use it in the issues of fiqh, issues of halal wal haram, in a certain way. It's not important to explain it now, but they use it. This is a fact. Another fact, Ahmad himself used the weak hadith, not al-Hasan li ghayrihi. Yani even some of my Hanbali Salafi shuyukh, whom I cannot even mention their names, they said no, it doesn't mean al-Hasan li ghayrihi. So even the Salafiyya themselves, they have this position among themselves. Ahmad used the weak hadith in a way which is different from the rest of the Hanabila. The Hanabila cannot do the same thing. Ahmad had a taste, and this taste made him accept some of the weak hadith that he himself considered weak. Another fact, Al-Hanabila, in their usul, they rely on the fatwa of the companion and the madhab of the companion and the position of the companion. Certain requirements, certain conditions, not important to mention them now. When it comes to the issue of al-mukashafa, this is a Sufi issue, and the Hanabila, in a very beautiful way, had this separation between sensitive issues of tasawwuf and the issues of al-fiqh, usul, ilm al-zahir in general. So you will not find them talking about al-usul, you will not find them talking about the issues of at-tasawwuf unless they can be practiced. Yani, you see the books of Sidi Shaykh Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, you find his theories in at-tasawwuf applied in the books of al-adab in the Hanbali madhab. It's clear. No one attached these things, but if we sit together for like an hour holding 2 books, I can show people this is from what Sidi Abdul Qadir said. When it comes to sensitive issues, like do we rely on things that were known by al-mukashafa? Al-mukashafa, this is general, but I mentioned things about the madhahib of the companions, the weak hadith. This is general, and there are madhahib in tasawwuf regarding this issue of al-mukashaf. Madhahib that, for instance, a madhab that says, لا يمكن أن يكون الحديث مكاشفة. يعني 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 لا يم You had kashf, you are obliged to do this, but you do not tell other people. You tell other people, but they are not obliged. You tell other people and they are obliged as long as they trust you and you are a trusted narrator. Madhahib. The Hanabila didn't go there, didn't tackle this issue. No.
So so it's basically, it's either going to be in a weak hadith or a qawl of a sahabi. If that's the case, then it doesn't matter whether a mukashafa confirms it or not, because you already have the nas, and there's evidence. And if it's purely a mukashafa, then it's not acted upon. Now, Jomo, I want to ask another question, and then you can chime in with anything that you have.